Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of my YouTube channel. Today's video is all about depression. And in honor of Mental Health Awareness Month, I wanted to do a quick video on signs or symptoms of depression, and also what we can do when we're feeling like we're in a depressive state, or if we are suffering from depression. So, as I said, this month is May and it's Mental Health Awareness Month. And last week I did a video all about anxiety and how to help when you're, what anxiety is and the different types of anxiety, and a little acronym for how to help yourself when you're in that anxious state. And this week I just want to talk about depression. Now, sometimes when I'm talking to clients, when I say the word depression, they even get a little anxious about that. And what I want to say is there's many different kinds of depression. And, there's situational depression. There's dysthymia, which is, certain signs and symptoms that last for 2 years or more. And there's major depression or major depressive disorder. Now, I'm not here to talk about each different type of mood disorder or depression. That's not what this video is about. What this video is about is really just some signs of depression, and most importantly, I want you to know whether you're feeling low, or you're feeling depressed, or even if you're having suicidal thoughts, I want you to call and ask for help. There is a suicide hotline number that I will, post a link to in the comment section, as well as pop up in this video. And just know that it's always okay to ask for help, guys. So please, if you're feeling low, even as you watch this, please, or if you're having those suicidal thoughts, call the suicide hotline number. And if you just want someone to talk to on a weekly basis, I encourage you to call a therapist. It's actually a really good thing to go meet with a neutral party to talk about things that are going on in your life. And let's face it, guys, after a year of being in lockdown, and now as we open up, we're going through a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression or feelings of exhaustion. We're just trying to find our footing again. The other thing I want to mention is that I just did a podcast with my colleague on Shrink Chats, and we talked about this new term called languishing. And languishing, it isn't depression. It's just this feeling that a lot of us have been feeling lately of exhaustion, this kind of lull, or it's like the indifference to the indifference. So even if you notice that you're feeling that, I would encourage you to ask for some help. I'll also post a link on my comment section about the podcast as well, because it's a good one. I might be a little biased, but it's a good one all about languishing. So let's go back to depression. What are some signs and symptoms that we are kind of in a depressive state, or we're depressed? So one thing that I always hear about is fatigue, exhaustion, and just really tired, even when you've gotten a lot of sleep. You just have that kind of heaviness that you are feeling. And another one is hopelessness or powerlessness, or just negative thinking, pessimism, where you're just kind of thinking everything is negative. So no matter how things are going, there's that negative thought that's really quick to jump in, or that pessimistic statement that you have in your head. Withdraw, a lot of times when we're feeling down or depressed, or when we're in a depressive state, we withdraw, we isolate. And after this year of kind of being forced to isolate for good reasons, that's kind of amped up a little bit more. So with that withdrawal, with that isolation, it's also withdrawal or lack of interest in some of your favorite activities. And so I think that's an important thing to kind of think about, is if I, for example, if I really love to cook, which I do, and all of a sudden I'm noticing I don't want to cook. I'm going to go, order all my food, and then when I get the food, I don't really even want to eat it. That's a sign that something's off for me. So, withdrawal or lack of interest in some of your favorite activities, that's another sign and symptom. As well as sleeping and eating. If I'm sleeping a lot, or I'm not sleeping at all, I'm having a hard time falling asleep, as well as my appetite. If I'm overeating, or if I'm not eating at all, if I feel like I don't have an appetite at all, that's a sign that we're feeling out of balance. And irritability and restlessness, or like we're always kind of on the edge and it's kind of outside of how you normally feel, then that's another sign. We're quick to jump to anger, or we're kind of in that constant state of irritability. I think that's an important one to remember. Unhealthy coping skills, when we are feeling really stressed and we reach towards alcohol or drug use as a way to disconnect or trying to cope with our sad feelings or being uncomfortable, when we're trying to disconnect in unhealthy ways. That's another sign and symptom. As well as when we're in physical pain. A lot of times depression can manifest in physical pain. So last week when I talked about anxiety, how anxiety can impact even like our gut health, when we are feeling depressed and we're kind of in that constant state of depression, it also impacts, it comes out in physical ways, whether it's through, again, gut health or, headaches. Those are some of the things that we really want to pay attention to that's outside of the norm of our day-to-day functioning. When we're in a constant state of worry about something in the past or something in the future, that's another sign of depression. And I know even recently, guys, we've all been thinking about that, like something that happened, like grief and loss over the past year. There's been a lot of grief, so we can be in that state of thinking about what we lost, as well as like, what's this new future going to look like? So I think that that's an important sign too. The other thing that I want to mention is, I call it the impossible task. A lot of times with depression, we just don't want to do anything, and that's kind of like that withdrawal or lack of interest in the things that we like. But the impossible task is those things where it's like, okay, I know I need to get up off the couch and, make some dinner, or I need to get up off the couch and go for a walk. I know those things will make me feel better. And then I have this heaviness and I can't do it. It feels impossible. And when someone is suffering from major depression, it's not, you can't just say, oh, just get up off the couch and go for a walk. You'll feel so much better. It's that impossible task that's like, oh, I just can't do it. And then when we say to ourselves, I just can't do it, then we sink into an even like deeper negative self-talk. So those are some warning signs or signs and symptoms of major depression. Remember, always ask for help. Get on Psychology Today and look up a therapist in your area. Suicidal thoughts, if you're having suicidal thoughts, which are another sign and symptom of depression, please call the suicide hotline. There's always someone that you can talk to. It's a 24-hour crisis line. So if you're listening to this video and you're like, oh my gosh, these are some things that are happening, again, call a therapist. But I just want to give you some things to try, just some quick tips to try when you're feeling down. And again, it's not like this, like, oh, I'm just going to go for a walk and everything's going to be great. But I will say that what the research supports is that with mild cases of depression, exercise and physical activity actually helps you better than medication. So again, with mild cases of depression, even if you are on medication already for depression, I highly encourage you to exercise. Exercise helps with so many things. And as I've said in other videos before, guys, it does not have to be, an hour and a half of really physical activity where you're, running in the parachute, or you're, lifting 1,000 pounds. It's nothing like that. It's any way to move your body is a good thing. And in fact, I did a whole video with a personal trainer on the importance of exercise and mental health. So, exercising, active, just moving your body. The other thing is, I want you to ask yourself at the end of the night, what was I able to do today? Because a lot of times with depression, or even that impossible task that we might be feeling, we just drum up all the things that we didn't do, or that we can't do, or that we weren't able to do. So we stay in that negative loop. So if we can say, what was I able to do today? And even make a list. If you're like, if you like to write things out, I'm a visual person, so I like to look at it. But, kind of write out what you were able to do for the day. It will change the way you see things. Even if all you could do is get out of bed, brush your teeth, drink some water, and eat a little something. Or just get up and brush your teeth. I was able to do those basics, and that's an important way to start retraining your brain on how to think a little bit differently. So instead of I can't or I wasn't able to, what was I able to do? Another thing that I want you to try is deep breathing. Just taking some few deep breaths also helps us feel a little bit better, as I've mentioned in other videos. Keeping a gratitude journal, gratitude, being focused on what you're grateful for today, helps retrain your brain. It's another way that you can help retrain your brain, and you do start to think differently. You start to see things differently, and that's another important piece. Making connections or connecting with friends or family, not just a therapist. Our social interactions are also attached to our mental health. So those are some things we can do. And then how we fuel our body, what we put in our body makes a big difference. When you're depressed, when you're drinking a lot, alcohol is a depressant. So it's going to amp that up. But even there's a good book called Your Brain on Food, and I'll post a link to that too. And it's all about how we can use food to help with our mental health. And there's even a whole chapter in there about what foods to eat when you're feeling depressed that help lift your mood, and what foods to avoid. It's a fabulous book written by a nutritional psychiatrist. So, how we fuel our body also helps us with our mood. So contacting friends, what are we eating, exercise, and really gratitude and that mindset of like, what am I able to do? Those are just some things to try out, guys. I'm not saying that it's going to take away your depression, but those are some things that you can start implementing today that help you improve your mental health, especially when you're in that state of depression. And again, please, if you are really feeling low and down, please contact a therapist right away. Alright guys, those are some quick tips. I appreciate you listening to my video today. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for weekly updates all about relationships and mental health. And remember, every day is a good day to take care of your mental health. Have a great day.